Welcome back. We're now up at my tiny cabin. You can kind of see in the background we've got the 16 on center, and we're 2x6, which gives a lot more room for insulation, which is important in this environment. What are your thoughts as you've kind of looked around the cabin and seen some of the differences? Would you do things differently? Are you glad you did what you did? Share your feelings. Share your feelings with us.
I like how many windows it has. It's really nice to have windows, and especially in this kind of environment, you want most of your living to be outside. If you're ever in a tiny space, a tiny structure, you want to be able to live outside and have it be a beautiful place, and they are rocking it with their surrounding area. It's amazing. So lots of windows. We were talking earlier about how having really big picture windows means that your insulation is for naught if you put in a lot of insulation, but you have big picture windows, especially in this kind of environment where it's really, really cold.
That was the thing I wrestled with, is I wanted, 6 foot by 3 foot, beautiful bay windows and great views, but that defeats the purpose. I'm trying to hold heat in here and keep people and things warm, and that goes against everything. There's no sense in having a 2x6 wall if you're going to lose all of your heat through a little tiny pane of glass. We'll be able to get R19 insulation into these, but a window is going to get an R4 maybe if I had a triple pane, the highest, best window I could find. But so it doesn't make sense to have all of this lumber here if I'm going to put a gaping hole in the side of the house with a window. A fine line there somewhere between great views and lots of light, but the objective here is to keep the heat in. So we'll find a happy medium somewhere, and I hope we've done it. We'll try it out this winter and see how it works.
I do like your floor plan. I think it's really nice. I like that you have a reasonably good sized bedroom that you'll have a little bit of privacy. If you're up here working a lot and you've got a lot of kids, it is nice to have a silent place to go when you're living in a tight space. I personally love lofts. For me, the tiny house is about the experience of living in the tiny house.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, the reason they don't want a tiny house is because they're like, well, I don't want to have to climb ladders to get into a loft when I'm 70. And I want to be able to have guests over. I want to be able to enjoy my family. If I'm living in a tiny house, I can't do any of that. But the point is that tiny houses don't have to be just about living in them forever. They can be used as a stepping stone to be mortgage-free, which in essence is to be bondage-free, because a lot of people, they're tied to a certain job because of the size of their mortgage.
Yeah, I have been there. I didn't like it. I don't recommend it. And I think that this little cabin, it will be a stepping stone, a comfortable place to be that is low cost and low overhead while we build something, bigger, nicer, without putting ourselves out there getting trapped underneath of a mortgage or in a job I don't want or don't enjoy. So I think it's worth it to maybe enjoy the little space for a while as it is moving us towards bigger and better things.
One of my biggest requests that I will have for Josh is that the video that I want to see him make on his channel is the beginner's list of tools to build a tiny house. With these tools, you can build a tiny house by yourself. This is how much it will cost you. It'll cost you $250 to buy all these tools. So here you go, there's your shopping list.
That's probably what we'll do, is we'll go to Home Depot and we'll price out those basic tools, and then we'll put them back on the shelf and we'll leave Home Depot and we'll go over to the pawn shop and we'll pick those tools up that are maybe even better quality at half price. And so that's probably one of our first video, is where to get great tools, what tools to get, and how to save money for buying boards instead of spending them on fancy shiny tools. Does that sound like a good plan?
You speak my language.
Okay, so that we'll start there.
Okay.
Okay.
Follow us along. It is Essential Mountain Homestead with Josh, and he also has a construction company. So
it's Pilch Construction, YouTube. The channel's been around for 6 years. We've got 7 videos, so we're killing it. But the one we're going to focus our time and talents on is going to be Essential Mountain Homesteading. and come along with us. We're going to put all of this on film, and the highs, the lows, the mistakes, the successes if we have any. And so that's where you want to watch us, is probably at Essential Mountain Homesteading. So we've cleared a whole bunch of trees, probably 6 or 7 dump truck loads of trees that we've hauled in that were cleared off of other cabin projects where they went in and cut the trees out in order to put the cabin there. So we brought those back, and we've got them piled up out here. I've probably got close to 100 trees that have been sitting around now for a year or two that are going to be great for putting on the sawmill and cutting up some timbers. I've got one that's poking out of the snow here. This is one that we cut last year, and we'll do a whole bunch more of these in the next few weeks as the weather gets warmer and we can get out and spend more time cutting up these trees.
Can you give them a frame of reference of what warmer means up here?
Okay, so you don't have to wear 2 coats. You only have to wear 1 coat. That would be warmer. Because
what's the temperature right now with blue skies?
Blue skies right now, we're 42 degrees, 45 degrees. I mean, if I wasn't so naturally insulated, I would probably be wearing a coat. But it's cool. It's definitely, the wind's blowing across the snow, but the snow is really starting to melt off quickly. I don't think we've probably got another 2-3 weeks at the most, and the snow will be gone, and it'll be summertime, and our window of opportunity to do 10,000 projects will be upon us. It'll be all hands on deck, sun up, sundown, going like crazy for the next 7, maybe 7.5 months, and then the snow will be back. So we'll just get as much done as we possibly can while we can. What do you think? So I cut these great big timbers last year, and my thought was, hey, I'll let them sit through the winter and dry out a bit, and then I can cut them into boards or planking for shelves or tabletops or whatever. But they've dried up quite a bit. They're definitely not as heavy as they were when I sat them there, so I'm excited to cut them up, and we'll make them into some stuff.
And so the sawmill that you're using is on the trailer?
Yes, I still got to get that pulled off. I think we're going to end up putting the sawmill on the other side, closer to the pile of trees once the snow gets melted out. And it's a little LT15, and it's been a great machine. I highly recommend it. The Wood-Mizer makes a great saw. Not everybody loves them, but I can't find any complaints. Things seems to work, and I haven't had any problems with it, and thumbs up to Wood-Mizer for sure. I put a pad I put about a foot of road base here, and it was all stuff that I got off the property. Down at the back of the property, I dug a pit, and below the topsoil, about 12 inches below the topsoil, is this great sandy, gravelly, road base type of material. And we hauled up 3 or 4 loads and then spread it out and then put the cabin. So the cabin sits kind of high, but I've just put these timbers, had these timbers here, and they make for a great step in front of the cabin. Great products. So if my hope is if I can get Julie to make some great stuff, then anybody out there can make some great stuff. That doesn't sound great. I'm sorry I said it that way. That's what I meant to say.
So true.
But if Julie can do it, we could all do it.
Anybody can do it.
Right. Sorry. That didn't sound good. I was sorry.